Hello everyone, my name is Philip George. I'm presenting on behalf of the Teal team, and today I'll be talking about Friedman chapter 14, They Just Didn't Get the Word. And this is the beginning of part 5 of the book, Rediscovering America. Just an overview of the presentation. We just didn't get the word. We'll talk about electric cars, the USS Chosen, Teach for America, Mike Biddle, and Buffalo Bob. Then into some American manufacturing, the vision / the city, hope for the future, and some conclusions. We just didn't get the word. There are many Americans who are going around today who didn't get the word that America is supposed to be in a recession, we're supposed to be depressed, we're not supposed to be innovative, and we're supposed to wait in line. College dropouts are supposed to flip hamburgers, and we need to be stagnant with ourselves. America's greatest strength used to be that we were too dumb to quit. That's not supposed to be in a bad way. It's supposed to be a good thing. We're supposed to keep doing what we were doing and stick with it. Immigrants who are coming to America, they know how to utilize America's ideals, and they start 25% of new Silicon Valley companies. These are companies that are sustained, that aren't just dropping out. And some college dropouts who just didn't get the word. Here's 4 companies right there, founded by college dropouts who just didn't get the word. Friedman starts his journey of this chapter. I like to think he was going on like a journey anyway. In New Delhi, India, at the Energy Resources Institute Climate Conference. 3 American women, one of which went to Yale, comes up to him and says, "Care for a spin?" And he says, "I think I've heard that line before." And that was the end of that. It was a little odd. And these 3 women made 3 student-innovated solar cars. They were made from the model of the Riva Electric Car Company, which is very large in India. And they added the solar panels at the top of it, retrofitted an old battery in it, so that 10% of its power ran off solar energy, and it could go 90 miles on a single 6-hour charge, plus the energy that it was collecting through solar. And these women went around India from Chennai to New Delhi, I think that's how you pronounce it anyway, on a 2,100-mile trek. And they were going across India, stopping in 21 different cities, looking for innovations, looking for new things that were happening that they couldn't just find searching YouTube. And they were filming these things, posting them on YouTube and telling people about it. And this was all presented at a climate change conference. And the leader of this trek said, "The world needs crazy ideas to change things. The conventional way isn't working anymore." And I don't need arrows to point out which one Mr. Friedman is, but that was the car that they were driving in. It's pretty neat. The USS Chosen is a guided missile cruiser that was situated in the North Persian Gulf when Friedman was located on it for the means of his journey. There's a very diverse crew, whites, blacks, Asians, Indians, many people of different religious affiliations, while the Iraqi Navy that they're very close to is all male and mostly Shiite Muslim. And while Friedman was walking around with a group of American Navy people, they were talking to some Iraqi Navy who said, "I thought all Americans were white." The Chosen is all female officers, or mostly all female officers, but everyone who's giving commands on the ship over the intercom is a female voice. And all the local fishermen thought that the Chosen was an all-female ship. And diversity is what gives the U.S. Navy its military might. And from the female boarding officer of the USS Chosen, being a female boarding officer is a huge asset because the Iraqi Navy are so curious and want to talk to us more so we can learn more. The different cultures of the U.S. Navy is what makes us strong. And the young women that are leading the charge to join the Navy just didn't get the word. Teach for America is a program founded by Wendy Kopp, and in 1989 at Princeton, she wrote her senior thesis on a program that would take students from America's top universities and place them in the worst performing schools across America after a 5-week crash course in teaching. the summer. She applied for programs at Procter & Gamble, Ford, and realized that she had no passion to do anything with corporations. And she had a strong disdain for America's education system. She thought it was a very solvable, the problem was very solvable. It just required that the new generation prioritize their focus on the education problem. When she tried to get this founded, people told her college students will never do this. They laughed her off. But she went on, pressed on, and passed out flyers at many Ivy League schools. And had 2,500 applicants in her first year. And she had some help from the human resources director at the LA school district, who said, "You give me 500 students from Stanford who want to teach in my public schools, and I will hire all 500 of them." In 2010, they had 46,000 applicants. They accepted 4,250. My older brother was one of those applicants, and he was also accepted for it. He loves it. This is a 32% increase in applicant size from the year before. And at over 130 colleges, this includes huge schools like Michigan, Florida State, many Ivy League schools as well. 5% of the graduating senior class applied for Teach for America. And it has placements in 26 regions today, our closest being Metropolitan, Nashville, and Atlanta. A third of TFA graduates stay teachers at the schools where they're placed. A third of TFA graduates stay in education. And Wendy Cobb says that their motivation is not based on show me the money, it's based on show me the significance. Mike Biddle, another man who didn't get the word, according to Friedman, is the founder of NBA Polymers. NBA Polymers is a company that separates plastics from junk piles, mostly from computer screens, old computer parts, car parts, and he considers it to be above ground mining. And they turn it into these little pellets based on the type of plastic that they separate out, and they'll sell it to companies as new plastic. It works just as well. In the past 4 years, he's mined 150 million pounds of new plastic from old plastic. But he can't really do this very well in America. China has better appropriate energy bills for Biddle's use, and he employs 25 people in California and 150 overseas. He outsources not because America has the largest above-ground mines in the world, which we do, according to him. We have no collection law that gives Biddle the scale that he wants to collect these items. And it's just not economically viable for him to stay in America and try and lobby his way out of it. He hired a lobbyist to go to Congress a few years back. He was there for 5 years, and absolutely nothing happened to help him out. He said, "I find myself always on planes doing business in other countries because they get it." We, as America, educated and subsidized Biddle to help him with his research and his work, and foreign workers are getting the jobs that he's creating. Buffalo Bob, who runs the oldest manufacturer in Buffalo, New York, and the largest manufacturer of fabric cutting machinery, is another man who just didn't get the word, but he does a lot more than just fabrics. He redefined them, and he sold into the aerospace industry. He does fabrics for fashion purposes as well, but now it's for things like windmills, high-tech fabrics that aren't necessarily made out of cloth. In 2004, he expanded into Westman machines in Ningbo, China. He went over there because he realized that he needed to globally expand. It wasn't economically viable for him to stay in America for the rest of the time. And since there's no piracy laws in China, there is a company there that was manufacturing the same things that he was, using the same machines that he had, but it was all Chinese made, and they called themselves Eastman machines. Or they called themselves Westman machines instead of Eastman machines. So he said, Okay, we'll just establish our own factory in China, and we will use Chinese-made parts and copy our own machines, and we'll sell them to the Chinese market. And because they like American-made products, they'll buy from us. The world still very highly views American-made products, and Buffalo Bob realized this, and that's why he continued making American-made products in China using Chinese-made parts. For his American factory, he looks for small little improvements by hiring thoughtful blue-collar workers, engineering students, people who didn't necessarily think that they would be doing factory work, but instead they're doing factory work. On the shop floor, these workers will think for themselves and they'll create improvements to the products that they're using. Add laser cutters, to fabric things, all that. Because they sell solutions and not machines. And Bob empowers his workers, who are very educated at what they do. He does not dictate them, tell them what to do. In Buffalo, he donates to the local universities because he can't afford to do all the research on his own. So he hires students, in fact, to do their senior projects on improving the machines that he uses in his factory. And now on to American manufacturing. In 2010, China first surpasses the U.S. in manufactured goods from a monetary standpoint. We produce just under $1 billion, and they produce just over $1 billion US dollars. But we only have 11.5 million U.S. workers, and China has 100 million. And we in America are focusing on high-paying, high-productivity factories using very difficult parts to make that require very technical work, such as aircraft, whether it's building it or building certain parts of it and forming it somewhere else in America. Scientific and medical equipment and control systems, also very important. But economics is not like war. America can succeed, so can Brazil, so can China, so can India. We can all be winners. All large manufacturing countries can succeed. But we just need to make job creation, says Friedman, a national priority. And America needs to be the launching pad for this. No person should ever leave America for manufacturing. That's the dream that Friedman is trying to get by. Foreign companies should try and move to America for their success. Friedman wants foreign companies to come and produce their products in America because America is the best place to produce their products, the most economically viable place to produce their products, and the place where they can make the best products. America should have every link in the industrial chain. The idea should be formed here, the idea should begin here, and it should continue to prosper here. Moneyball was a movie, but it actually happened. Did anybody see it? I heard it was pretty good. I really wanted to see it. But Friedman says that in Moneyball, of the struggling Oakland